Welcome everyone. Thank you for coming to Calva Village Hall today. So in a moment, Vani's body will be carried in as a pay to respect when it will be brought into the hall, if we can all stand up, but not yet. If we can all please stand up. Welcome, everyone. Thank you all for coming to Calvary Village Hall today. Today we gathered here to celebrate. We'll celebrate the life of Dr. Vanisree Staniforth. As we all remember our dear sister, we look back on her life and we give thanks that we could be a part of it. Losing Vanisree at such a young age is heartbreaking for us all. But we have to be comforted by the knowledge that she was looked after, she was cared and comforted by her family. And though they feel the pain and grief of losing this gracious, lovely lady, the loving wife, the caring mother, as many of us do, but her memory will always be the one of love and deepest respect. I personally feel very lucky to have known Vani. And she made me feel so welcome in her family. And I feel that we were very close. So for the next hour or so, we hope that you will join us in remembering that Vani would not want us to be too sad, as she's now is at peace. And though this last year was full of trials and times of great suffering, but she always bounced back with incredible strength and positivity. Recently, during one of our online meditations, Vani became quite emotional. And she pleaded with us all not to waste time. As life is too precious and time is too tenuous to feast away on inconsequential nonsense, for Vani, achieving the spiritual ascent was of paramount importance. And she urged us to pursue the spirit with renewed vigor. This life we live, she believed, was not the be-all and end-all of everything, but just a temporary time during which we try to perfect ourselves and deepen our spiritual awareness. The truth and love begin when we transcend these worldly desires and distractions. So this afternoon, we will take some time to hear from those closest to Vani. And we will hear messages from some who cannot be here today. And we also will listen to some of the Vani's favorite music. And most importantly, we'll reflect on our dear sister, on our dear Vani. She left us too soon, but on to a better place. And she's at the feet of God right now. So may Mother embrace her daughter and smooth her journey always and forever. Thank you. Jai Shri Mataji. So now we're going to listen to the prayer of Ganesha Tarva Shirshi, so you can sit in meditation, please.
No.
So we just listened to the Ganesha Tarva Shirshan, which is an ancient prayer of thousands of years old. And Ganesha depicted as a deity which removes all the obstacles in the journey. And as we believe, and as Vani believed, our journey does not end here. So, as we're going to go through today's program, the next, we're going to hear the eulogies from the family. And the first to speak is going to be the dear husband of Vani, Michael Staniforth.
Thank you, everybody, and to all my friends and family. I'm going to read from the script because if I don't, I'll probably forget what I was wanting to say. But anyway, welcome to this bittersweet occasion, and thank you all for coming. Some of you have travelled from far away, and we are truly touched. Your deep respect and love for Vani is shared by all here, and I am sure all who knew her. We've been so moved by some of the messages we've received from people all over the world, especially from those who could not make it here today, but wanted to express their feelings and memories of this remarkable woman. Anand, Anita, and I have been hurled into a scenario that we could not be prepared for. And I would like to say how much I personally appreciate both of our children for being quite amazing in getting us through this last week. I know Vani was supremely proud of both of you, and that cannot be underestimated. In fact, we've been supported by so many friends and family members who have helped us to get through this. I especially want to pay tribute to her elder brother Pavan, her Anna, and family who have driven here from Amsterdam. Your care and attention over this last 15 months had been invaluable to his Chelly. Thank you for everything you did. And to her brother Satish and family in Hyderabad, who could not be here today, I'm sorry that you couldn't be here in person, but your daughter is here in your stead. And I hope you are able to join us digitally. I would also like to give a special thanks to my sister, Vicky. Your support and help since Vani became ill, but especially this last few weeks has been tremendous. And your arrival 15 minutes before Vani's passing was heaven sent. You were our rock at that devastating time. Finally, our heartfelt gratitude goes to all the Sahajis who have rallied around for their sister, who came to support Vani during her illness. Your kind attention was always felt. In particular, I'd like to point out the efforts given by my brother Gena. The daily meditations he led for Vani and myself were a balm for Vani's suffering and lifted us into a state of peace. And Vani was so grateful for everything you did, so thank you. It will be clear to most here that Vani was a very special lady, and it was clear to me the first time I met her in India. Here was a young woman who exuded grace, composure, and beauty by her mere presence. And to say my heart skipped a beat would be an understatement. Some people don't believe in love at first sight, nor do they hold much stock in intuition. But to me there was no doubt. I could feel such peace in her presence, and was awestruck by her kindness and her devotion to her spiritual growth. To top all that, she was exceptionally beautiful, and that beauty was powered by her endearing character. Over the years, in my eyes, she became even more lovely, and we became an inseparable couple. Her dedication to living a dharmic life with a husband who is still besotted with her, and to her children whom she loved and cared for so diligently and so lovingly was astounding and inspirational. What amazed me was her complete faith and surrender she had in us as a couple. I must have done some seriously good things in a previous life to be fated to meet Vani, and her to not only accept me as a husband, but once we decided to marry, her unswerving dedication to our union allowed her to forgo a promising career as a scientist working for the Indian government in order to join me. Not only that, to join me in starting a new life in Taiwan. One could not be more moved than I was. I was lucky that though Vani's parents were rooted in traditional dharmic values, they were actually quite progressive when it came to their children's future. I am forever grateful for the warm welcome they showed me and for allowing me to marry someone who was clearly very precious to them, and words cannot express the love I felt from them and subsequently for them. From starting at rock bottom in Taipei, her continued love and support was the power behind everything that happened to us. The jobs we got and the life we built there. She even took to learning a little Chinese to add to fourth language to her repertoire. It is said that a marriage is like a chariot with two wheels, a man and a wife, and both wheels must be equal, or the chariot won't get very far. It is also known that the wife is the Shakti, the power in any relationship, and also as the Lakshmi power, and is supremely worthy of respect and devotion. I could go on all day how wonderful Vani was, also about how complete we were as a couple. I did not have a sense of where I ended and she began. We were truly one. In deep meditation, we were so in sync that individual identities were left behind, leaving us only us and the divine vibrations. The pain I feel in losing her physical presence knows no bounds and is inversely proportional to the absolute love I have for her. Still, now and forever. Though she's no longer with us physically, which is an open wound I feel in my heart, my memory is the bandage that will heal it. She is and will forever be in me, in my heart. So moving to Taiwan, I took this young Dr. Vanisree by air to this foreign land, and although she was surprised that Taipei was such a cosmopolitan city, the culture, the people were as foreign to her as they could be, yet she was supremely unflappable, taking it all in her stride with such poise and dignity. From renting a room in a friend's house to sharing our first house in Taiwan with two other friends, Vani straight away was the core of the household, and her mere presence kept everything going. She was grace personified, and people treated her with such reverence and respect. She even had poise and decorum when perched on the back of my motorcycle, weaving through the congested streets of Taipei and trekking over the mountains surrounding it. Those motorcycle adventures soon came to an end when she was expecting our first child. This propelled us to get a small car and to move into our own apartment in Shija, a neighbouring town close to the top science institute on the island. Of course, living so far away from India and England did mean that we were on our own for the most part, and self-reliance became our way of life, which she never questioned or complained about. Though family was always a phone call away, as being a fellow Leo, being self-reliant was our way of getting through any trials and tribulations that we came across. We leaned in together. Over the next 15 years, we welcomed two wonderful children, Anand in '98 and Anita in 2003. Vani was so proud of both of her children, and yet so level-headed in what needed to be done to raise them, even to the point of sacrificing having them around for years so they could attend boarding school in Dharamshala. During this time, Vani went back to work, getting jobs in Academia Sinica and in the biotech industry in Taiwan. This led to more papers published and numerous business trips around the world. She was a well-respected scientist and incredibly knowledgeable in her field of genetics. even working with oncological diseases, ironically. She had incredible insight, views about the limitations of research methods and also healthcare protocols, and foretold many innovations that are only now coming into use. Her sharp intellect and keen mental discipline were a constant source of admiration and amazement for me. In 2006, we bought a villa in the mountains near to Shija. It was a real fixer-upper. Vani's desire to build a better home for our family was the driving force behind an 8-month rebuilding effort that was a project neither of us had ever been involved with before. But it was Vani's calm and disciplined approach to this work that allowed us to completely strip and rebuild a 4-story villa into a beautiful house. It was a mammoth task, designing and managing the build, dealing with often incompetent contractors and the uncooperative weather. It didn't matter. Vani approached all issues with the same unstoppable and unflappable capability. We would never have dreamed of even attempting such an ambitious project if it weren't for her. This, to me, epitomized the title, wife. In 2014, we moved back to England. Vani had embraced life in Taiwan and took all our Chinese friends to her heart. She was the most respected auntie to many in the Sajoga collective in Taiwan, and so many people with whom her love and guidance had touched had sent many beautiful messages over the last week. Over the 9 years we have lived here in England, Vani relished in joining the UK collective and in getting to know our English family better. The help we received from Mum and Brian, Vicky and Trevor and Joan in the first few years have helped us finding our feet, and we quickly felt at home. Like most things we have done in our lives together, it just felt right. Vani loved the countryside here, and we soon got used to the cooler climate. Well, almost. She loved the Peak District, but also Wales, Scotland and Cornwall. Last year, after a long and expensive process, Vani received British citizenship, even receiving a blue passport. Sadly, she was not able to use it. We used this base to explore places in Europe more than we ever had, travelling through Switzerland, France, Italy, on multiple long road trips. Though Italy was always been a favourite destination, and we long ago lost count of how many trips we made there, that really felt like a home from home for Vani. I look around all the beautiful flowers here today, and she would be so pleased. Being a botanist by heart and even studying plant breeding for her PhD thesis, she always loved flowers in all their forms and enjoyed creating lovely gardens in Taiwan and here in UK. So thank you all for the floral tributes. Throughout Vani's adult life and whilst ever we were married, the most important thing was her spiritual development and her ascent. There were times when life and work tried to limit this, but behind everything we did and everywhere we went, the pursuit of spiritual growth and enlightenment was the key driver for Vani. She not only lifted herself, but she lifted me also, and I owe everything to her. We can only pray for her continued ascent after her passing, and as the yogis amongst us will testify, she still feels fresh and so cool. I'm sorry for going on so long, and I hope you'll forgive me if I've made this far without breaking down and allowing the grief I feel to overcome me. Well, then I thank you all for being here. But most of all, I thank you, Vani, for the most beautiful life and for being my rock and support. I also thank Shri Mataji and God for bringing us together and allowing me to utmost privilege of knowing Vani and of being her husband to such a remarkable lady. She will forever be in my heart.
So now we're going to hear the eulogy from her beloved daughter, Anita.
Sorry for leaving so suddenly. It was just very beautiful and I didn't have any tissues. My mom was so wonderful. She was a very strong and caring person with a lot of wisdom. Not only am I immensely privileged to have been surrounded by her love and guidance growing up, I'm lucky to have developed a deeper bond with her over the last few years. I really got to know her. Her sweet and playful nature, her love of walking in the peaks and being in gardens, her fondness of period dramas, just to name a few. Coming home meant I got to enjoy her presence, and we would rewatch Ghibli films together and get down to our usual chit-chat. I would gladly sit for hours listening to the bright-eyed tales of her childhood, her small and particular passions, and of the loving relationship she had with her parents. There was always something new and wonderful to learn about her life and her amazing character. Towards the end, I had the honor of being someone who she could trust to look after her. And I'm unbelievably grateful to have been able to give back a fraction of the love and dedication that she gave to us. Her soul shines bright and her wisdom rings today, tomorrow, and forever throughout everything me and my family do. Throughout her life, she's been surrounded by love, love which will continue on in all our hearts, while she rests her head in a wonderful garden of heavenly bliss, a garden as wonderful as she is. Our relationship was like our favorite walk near home. Initially shrouded by trees, she acted as the path guiding my innocence. This continued on until we finally emerged onto a grassy hill bathed in sunlight. It's scattered with spring flowers and overlooks a pleasant valley. This is our favorite spot. I am older now, and the sunshine and wide open atmosphere let me see her as she is, with full clarity. We can now sit and enjoy the view together. The sun's warm glow acts like a blanket. She starts to lie down and close her eyes. I feel I can watch over her until she eventually falls asleep, finally at peace. It's okay, I say. As the path now is part of my memory, and thanks to her, I'll always know the way back home. With all the love in my heart. Thank you for everything.
next eulogy we're going to hear from her beloved son, Anand.
Hello there. We've heard two very wonderful speeches from my respective father and sister. I hope mine will measure up. My mum was a truly amazing person, strong, independent. She was a teacher, a scientist, but more importantly, an incredible mother. She was much more. The last thing my mum said to me before she passed was "Happy birthday," which she then followed up with a little joke about me not being 90. I was wearing a sports jersey at the time, which had the number 90 on it. So I think she was trying to remind me, despite me getting a year older, I was still very young. One of my fondest memories of my mum wasn't some trip on a holiday or some, I don't know. When I was in Dharmashala in boarding school in India, it was my first year there, we spent a considerable amount of time away from our parents. And I remember one morning, I was half awake and the door opened in my dorm room. And initially I didn't think anything odd of it, but I felt a presence. It was warm, familiar, safe, but very warm and strange. As I lay there on my bed, half awake, I felt this presence come closer as the footsteps got closer. And as the presence came closer, it sat down at the foot of my bed. Initially, I was thinking, what's going on here? As I opened my eyes, I saw this warm figure at the feet of my bed. The head was turned around, so I didn't know who it was. But my heart and my body, I could feel this tremendous amount of joy and warmth. And as her head turned around and I saw her face, I leapt out of my bed and embraced her in one of the biggest and warmest hugs ever. It was so warm and nice. I felt so safe and secure. All the worries that I had in my life just disappeared in an instant. We were there for more than a few minutes, just hugging each other. Eventually, we got up, I got dressed, and we went for a walk out to her hotel. We had breakfast together, and we just shared that moment together. It was precious. And despite, having so many hugs with my mom over the years, for some reason that hug, that embrace, I wish I could feel that 1,000,000 times over. My mom was a very smart woman, strong, independent. And I know she was very proud of both my father and my sister, and of me. And I hope that she will be proud of the man and the woman my sister, and obviously the man my dad will continue to be. And I hope wherever she will be smiling down upon us all. Thank you.
It's live music now.
So next we're going to hear the live performance of music by Ganesh, who is her niece's husband. And Vani, being a great admirer of music and as a present in musician, him part of her family. So let's listen to the Indian classical music by Ganesh.
I'd like to sing a song that also Auntie Vani enjoyed a lot. And she specifically liked Indian classical music and Indian devotional music. That's why I would like to also tell the meaning of the song. It's a song that is dedicated to Shrimataji, also to this divine power that acts in us and around us. And it says, words are inadequate to describe all these qualities that this divine power possesses. The experience of this divine love that we can feel is just impossible to describe, and this is what this song is about.
Prema
निर्गुणांचे सत्व तू मानवतेचे सत्व तू निर्गुणांचे सत्व तू कर्तृत्वाचे कर्तृत्व तू जीवनाचे अस्तित्व तू निर्मला किती वर्णावी तुझी स्तुती ओ किती वर्णावी तुझी स्तुती संगीतचा सूर तू आ, आ, संगीतचा सूर तू प्रेमचा महापूर तू संगीतचा सूर तू प्रेमचा महापूर तू देण्यासाठी आतुर तू आनंदाच सागर तू निर्मला किती वर्णावी तुझी स्तुती ओ किती वर्णावी तुझी स्तुती निर्मला किती वर्णावी तुझी स्तुती अग किती वर्णावी तुझी स्तुती ओ किती वर्णावी तुझी स्तुती ओ किती वर्णावी तुझी स्तुती
So next we're going to hear the eulogy from Vanisree Staniforth.
On this day, when we celebrate Auntie Wani's life, I would like to share some of my father's memories. He spent his first 27 years of his life living together with his sister in India, where he was a proud older brother, because as he says, his sister was brilliant. She desired to help others. She challenged herself to learn the veena, which is said to be the most hardest instrument for those who don't know. And she ranked first in her studies, both in high school and in college. Their father was a very respected teacher and a great advocate of education. So when Auntie Vani wanted to do a PhD, instead of getting married like all the other girls. She had the full support of her brothers and of her father. Her mother even moved with Auntie Vani to the big city to take care of her only daughter, while she was studying hard to complete her PhD. And eventually she was the first person from her village, and a village in India is really big, to actually accomplish a PhD. In return, Auntie Vani loved her family and her brothers. She was always keeping in touch with them, even when they were continents apart. They managed to stay in each other's lives through their strong connection and their loving attention. The dedication and discipline she had in her younger years for studies could be seen in all aspects of her life. Daring to move to Taiwan to start a life with Uncle Michael, raising Anand and Anita into the gentle and caring people that they are today. Her investment in her continuing spiritual growth, for herself, but even for those of others. As a niece, I found her motivating, reassuring, and comforting. We shared many cozy moments, many nerdy moments also, and many sweet joys. I'm glad to have had her in my life as a role model, warm, balanced, and always loving. Her impact on our lives will remain, and her memories we will cherish.
Hello, I'm going to convey a message from friends from far away, from Hong Kong in fact. And it's a message from Alex and Lily Henshaw. Some of you may know them, I don't know. I can only say we have been friends of Alex and Lily, or at least Alex, since 1996. So that we have in common. So I'm happy to read the message from Alex. Celebrating Vani's life. Dear Michael, Anita, family and friends. It was with the great sadness that we heard the news of Vani's passing on Saturday, August 26th. We had known Vani since 1996. After she married Michael, visited Hong Kong in 1996 when Shimachi visited after her trip to Taiwan. We often visited Taiwan for Sahaja Yoga seminars and always enjoyed spending time with Vani and Michael. Vani was a very capable and educated lady. She got a position in the Taiwan Academy for Science during research. In the years passed and she was blessed with the two beautiful children, Anand and Anita. We were fortunate to have spent time in 2006 in Taiwan in their house with Vani and Michael. Vani was an incredible host and she looked after us so well during our stay. We saw the wonderful qualities she had as a yogini mother and wife, as well as managing her professional life as a scientist and researcher. Her dedication to Shimataji was paramount, and even during the time of her illness, she never lost faith. These are the beautiful qualities that we remember in our dear sister, and she will forever be in our hearts. And this is Alex writing. After my own mother passed away in 1984, when I was staying in Shimataji's house in London, she explained very sweetly that there is no death, only the change of the body. It's like when our clothes get worn out, we simply go out and buy new ones. When our body is worn out, when our soul leaves the body, and if we choose, we can take a rebirth with a new body. With a new body, we have even greater potential to serve God. We take the comfort that Vana is no longer suffering and is now in heaven with our Holy Mother. With our deepest love and respect, Lily and Alex Henschel. Tack så mycket.
So the next one, I would like to invite her Sahaj sister, Rachel, to come and read the poem for us.
It's an honor for me to speak in front of Barney's family, who are very, very dear to all of us. And I wrote a little poem. It was following Barney's death. And it was because I had heard her speak at one point when I was on a Zoom meeting. I think I had been speaking about a poem by William Blake called The Morning, and I said it was about a longing for something to come, the morning. And so I wrote this poem, having heard her voice, very gentle in the background. I wasn't sure it was her, but Genna told me it was her. And I heard her voice, and it seemed to me it entered into my heart. Vani, such harmony. Your spirit once called me. I heard you, a silver note. Vani, such harmony, steadfast and dharmic, beauty considerate, seeking and risking in silver note. Vani, in harmony, meditative and longing, climbing and scaling the heights and the limits, a silver note receding. Vani, deafen us with your silver note so clear, now dipping and delving in glorious harmony, our fingertips noting detachment and joy.
So now let's take this time for the reflection with the violin played by Ganesh live.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you for your patience. I'm sure some of the music may have been unusual to some people, but it was very close to Varney's heart. Thank you, everybody, again. And I think that just about concludes the program today. So now we'll be taking Varney and taking her back to the hearse. So while we're doing this, we'll just continue listening to this. It's called Rag Yaman. It's another piece of classical Indian music that Varney liked very much. In the entrance there is a book, if anybody would like to leave a comment or write a message for Varney. So it's in the entrance hall.